everyone, welcome to Watercolor Wednesday. I am Bonnie Krebs, creator of Watercolor, the Art Impressions Way, and this week's project is a really simple one. Last week I went overtime. I try to keep these videos at 15 minutes and I went way over time, so I'm going to make up for it this week with a really simple one. In fact, this project only takes 4 stamps and 3 markers. So the simple ones are really fun to do. So I think you're going to really like this project. So what we need to use is, we're going to use the Ornate container set. So this one right here, but you can use any container that you have. Any container is going to work. We're also going to use the branch that's in the clay pot set. In the chest, so this is a chest of flowers. This is one of the mini sets. We're going to use this little flower right here. And then, of course, in our foliage and flower set, we're going to use the vine, this one right here. Okay, so let's get going. We're also going to use the Molotov masking fluid. This is the number 4, but you can also use the smaller one if you have that one. That will work great too. So we're going to use that one. We're going to start out by stamping the basic image. So that would be the pot. And we're going to use 2 colors. So I really like to mix these colors up. It kind of gives it a more of an antique look. I think it adds a lot of interest. So I'm just going to put 2 colors on here. Just like that. Stamp it on my watercolor paper. So kind of towards the bottom will work just like that. And then I'm going to use my my masking fluid. So if you've never used this before, it's really easy. You just want to open the cap and pump the tip, and you'll see that the masking fluid will come down and you'll be able to write with it. So I'm going to make this little trellis. And don't be scared about stuff like this. This is just a little freehand drawing. It's really easy. It doesn't have to be perfect. I've actually made this middle post about 1.5 inches. So if you really want to be sure and do it exactly the way that I did it, you can take a little ruler and just make a little point up here. So just like that, right in the center of the pot, that's where we're going to make our first post. So just like this, you're going to just drag this color down just like this in a straight line. So just like that, we're going to do another one and we're going to angle it kind of off to the side just like this. And then another one. So 3 posts. Don't worry if they're not exactly even. You can see mine aren't. And then we're going to make 3 bars across. So just like this. Just like that. And we're going to let that dry for a little bit and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back and I'm ready to move on to the next step. So my masking fluid is dry, so I'm good to stamp over the top of that. But before I do, let's go on and pull the color out of the lines from the pot. So I'm going to dip my brush in water, pinch it off, and I'm going to pull this color out of the lines. Make sure that you don't cross any of these horizontal lines. It's really important that you don't do that. You'll lose the integrity of the image, so everything will just kind of go flat. So you want to leave these lines here. This is what kind of raises this, this little bar across here and gives it that dimension. So just keep going, pull this color out of the lines. Make sure you leave a highlight in the center because this little container is round. So we want to see that. And just kind of drag all this color out. You can see the different colors in here now because I used the African violet and the sepia. So you can see the mix of color. I just love that. Okay, so I've got this about finished. You can see I made this really dark here on the side. That kind of fades back into the background. So let's put something decorative on here while we're at it. And I'm just going to use the number 86. So I said 3 colors. So 86, sepia, which is 45, and then the olive green. Those are the only 3 colors we're going to use. So let's add a little color now to this pot. This is the 86, and I'm just pulling it off of my palette, just like that. And we can make something a little decorative here. This is so easy to do. Just take a little color, make a simple little design. Really fun. And we are about finished with our little pot. Okay, so we can go on to the next next step, and that would be to add the foliage in here. So now we're good to stamp over this little trellis. So I'm going to use the vine, and this is the number 15, so olive green, and I'm just going to start by putting this little foliage in. Remember, we're going to stamp this a bunch of times, just like we always do, and I can drape some of this off the pot here too. And I can stamp clear up over the top of this trellis because I've got all my white spots protected here. And leave some areas for the flowers. We're going to put the flowers in here too, so we want to make sure we leave enough space for those. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to dip my brush in water, and I'm just going to add water now to this. And this is going to soften these lines. And you can see that masking fluid has just protected all of our white areas. So when we rub it off, we're going to be able to see that white trellis underneath. So make sure you get enough color around it so that we can really see that. Don't worry if you get a little of this color from the container into the green, that's okay. Adds a lot of interest. So just keep dabbing. Remember to pinch your brush off. We don't want too much water. If you can't see the texture of the stamp, you've got too much water, or you just have a big round blob, make sure that you're pinching your brush off and that you're just dabbing. My hand is flat on the table, just like I'm writing my name, so I'm not stabbing. I'm not stabbing at the image. I'm just dabbing. So kind of using the side of my brush. Okay, so I've got all this foliage in here now, so I'm ready to move on to the next step, and that would be to put the little flower in. I love this little guy. There's so many options that you can use. If you don't have this one, use a different one. There's a lot of things that you can use to create this image. And just kind of put it wherever. And I'm just stamping it in here a few times. So 1, 2, 3, it's good. Just like that. We can put a few more in here, like this. And then we can go back now and add our water to it. So easy. And I love this dark color because even though I'm stamping over the green, you can see that really it really shows up. So with something like this, where you have a lot of foliage, you wouldn't want to use, you know, something like a bright yellow. You wouldn't see that color very well unless you just kept that to the white space. So when you're stamping over a lot of foliage like this, you want to use those darker colors that have a lot of pigment in them. And you can see I'm just tapping at this, so I'm just softening the lines. Make sure you leave those white spaces. You don't want to color this all in solid and make just a kind of a round blob that doesn't have any shape. Okay? And you can see I'm kind of going out of the lines too, so that's okay too. That's okay too. You're not restricted to the area of the stamp. And let's pull a little of this color now out of the sides. That adds a lot of interest too. Just drag some of this color out. Just like that. And I'm going to add something down in the bottom here. So I'm going to ink this vine again. And I'm just going to stamp it in here a couple of times. So just like this. Right at the bottom of that little pot. Add some water to it. Soften. You can see that adding water to these things just changes the whole shape of it. Makes it look like a little painting. And that's what we're going for. So a little more of these little blooms in here. And a little more water. And just dab. So cute, so fun, and so easy to do. Like I said, this only took 4 stamps, and 3 markers. Okay, let's add one more thing to it, and that would be that the little dry branch, and we're going to ink that in the green. So this is the olive green, and we're just going to put a few of these little accents in here. I think this adds a lot, just a little more texture. That looks pretty good. I think we are about ready to take off our masking fluid. Make sure that everything is really dry in here before you rub this off. So just check. Everything dries really quickly, but just double check to make sure. And then just rub this off with your finger. So just like this, it will come off really easily. We've got that off. If you have any little residual areas, you can take that off with an eraser. We'll just come right off. And we've got our little trellis showing. Now this looks really flat, so we want to take one more step, and that would be to add a little blue line. So carefully take a little color off of your palette. This is the African Violet again, and you're just going to make a really small thin line along the side. So very carefully, just drag that color down. Just use the point of your brush, add a little water to it, and under here also, because we want to see that shadow. If we don't see the shadow, this is going to look too one-dimensional. So I want to be able to see this underneath, and it's amazing what a little blue line will do. It just changes everything. So fun. And I promise nobody will ever guess that this was stamped. They will never ever know. Okay, that still looks a little flat to me, so we're going to add some more vines over the top. So I'm just going to ink a few of these up and just kind of stamp it over the top, just so that it looks like there's a few little vines peeking through. Add a little water to it. And we are about finished with this little pot. Super fun and easy and quick. When you need that card really quickly, you can put these little paintings together so fast. And if you don't have these particular ones, use what you have. Everything is so versatile that any container is going to work for this project. So one thing left to do, and that is to sign and date and put it on a card or put it in a frame and give it to somebody you care about. You are going to make their day. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you all next week.